This is the Broksonic TSG-45 AM/FM stereo cassette tape deck and recorder from around, I would guess, the early 90s. It has a lot packed into it with a 5-band graphic equalizer on the front. There's a microphone at the top, and then, of course, your guide to where you've tuned your stations to. On the side, you've got an FM stereo mono switch with beat cut and volume and tuning. On the back, there's two very small speakers, which I'm guessing don't sound too great, and the telescopic antenna for the FM radio. If we look on the top, you can see that this does record. You can also see that the finish has kind of been marred on the top. This is a pretty old device. There's actually a switch to pause the tape. FM stereo light, a tape radio switch, a metal normal cassette switch, and AM/FM radio switch. And what's interesting to me is the 4.5 volt in DC at the top, which may be confused for a headphone jack. Be careful. On the other side, there is, of course, the headphone jack and then the battery compartment. And it's pretty clean in there. Looks pretty good, so shouldn't have any trouble with that. So I put some batteries in, and we'll test the radio out here and see how it sounds.
He comes with the rhythm of the setting moon, and it's molding us to breathe deep in earth is fully.
And this is a virus that broadcasted through the 80s.
So upon attempting to play, I notice the take-up spindle doesn't move, and so it definitely needs new belts. There's just a few screws on the back and on the bottom to remove, and this will let you open the case, but be careful because there's obviously wires connected to the speakers. So you can kind of fold the back away and reveal a circuit board, which we need to remove or loosen in order to get to the belts. And what I found was there are 3 screws that hold the circuit board on. There's one there, there's one kind of hidden under some wires here, and then there was the one on the side. And if you remove those 3, you can kind of jiggle the circuit board enough to be able to replace the belts using a tool with maybe a hook on the end to get the old belts off and put the new belts on. So I didn't have to entirely remove the circuit board once I just got it loose enough. And it's hard to see in there, but you can access the belts this way. And here's a photo of the belt from the motor to the flywheel, and then there's a belt that goes around the upper part of the flywheel to the pulley. The belts I removed were really stiff, and so they definitely needed replacing. There's one that is just under 6 centimeters, and the other one is just over or maybe at 6 centimeters. So these come in a pack you can get from Amazon. Just get a pack of 100. Be aware that if your cassette door flops around after you do this repair, you need to make sure that this spring here is pushed down such that it catches on the cassette door, so that way it will stay closed. All right, let's try the cassette now. As expected, the sound isn't that great, so let's give it a little help and run some of these edifier speakers from the headphone jack and see if it sounds any better.